Friends, what is happening in Australia? The amount of anti-Semitism we have seen in Australia has been mind-boggling. The spray painting of synagogues, firebombing, threatening of the leaders of Jewish community. What is happening, and how is it possible that you have a country that claims to be Western, progressive, caring about human rights, yet at the same time, there is no safety to be found for a minority there? The whole idea of a liberal democracy is to say, look, we are going to protect a minority from the majority's rule in a case that majority becomes intolerant. And yet Jews in Australia have not found safety. We've heard chilling events. Yes, the police stepped in at some point, but we've seen chilling events from literally the day of October 7th, where people there were chanting in the streets, things that I will not repeat here. So what is going on in Australia? And most importantly, why don't you see more Australians speaking out? We've had extraordinary people like Erin Mullen and others speak out, but for the most part, we have not seen a meaningful outcry from the people in Australia. I can tell you this. A few years ago, I think it was 2018, when there was the horrific attack in New Zealand on the mosque in Christchurch, I myself went to the embassy of New Zealand, I should say the consulate at the United Nations, and I stood there in solidarity with New Zealand's Muslim community, and I signed a book of condolences, and I offered my support. Why? Because violence is a red line that nobody should be crossing. We can say whatever we want, but you can't hurt anybody. And you need to show solidarity. And at the end of the day, we're all children of God. And so when I saw such an attack, I said, it doesn't matter, my group, not my group. I will go there and I will show solidarity, because everyone has to be protected. The right to worship is sacred. The right to individuality, the dignity of difference, all of these things need to be protected. And yet we see the rampage against Australian Jews. At the same time, crickets. Very, very, very little response from the Australian population, very, very few responses in government, not enough of an outcry against those who are speaking out in anti-Semitism. It's time for the Australian people to make it clear there is no room for hate, there is no room for racism, and there is no room for those who attack Jews in Australia. But you know what? You can't just do it that way, because the anti-Semitism is fueled by the demonization of Israel. It's fueled by the falsehoods that are said about Israel, and therefore, excuse me, the non-stop attacks on Israel, the obsession with Israel, the demonization of Israel, all this needs to stop. You know why? Because it is anti-Semitic. No, it's not fact. It's taken out of proportion. Yes, Israel makes mistakes, but when you all day speak about Israel's mistakes, that fuels anti-Semitism. So even those who think they're not part of the problem, the fact that you're not speaking out against the demonization of Israel, that in and of itself is an issue, because those lies are fueling a lot of the hate. Speak out. I hope you speak out. It's a decent thing to do. It's the right thing to do. And those who do will forever be appreciated. We thank you. We thank Erin Mullen, and we thank everyone who's spoken for decency against hate, racism, and anti-Semitism. We appreciate you. Thank you. And let's make sure that everyone in Australia experiences a freedom of worship. Everyone is safe, and no one is persecuted in the way we've seen Jews in Australia being persecuted over the past year. Thank you.